This is the Canada Lutheran magazine, published in Winnipeg, out of the national head office of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in Canada. It contains news and stories written by or about Lutherans from across Canada. The national editor in Winnipeg and 5 provincial editors from west to the east coast are responsible for filling its pages. My role as writer and editor of the 3 Alberta and the Territories pages in the Canada Lutheran allows me the privilege of hearing lots of stories. Some of those stories are events primarily of interest to the Lutheran readership, such as coverage of the Alberta Synod Conventions, an installation service for a new pastor, or faith-oriented study conferences. Other stories are more broadly based and can be explorations of other religions or of Lutheran churches and their work in the mission field at home or in countries like Colombia and El Salvador. Still others are about social justice and deal with ecological issues, native rights, homelessness, or human trafficking. But whatever the underlying theme, each story is filled to the brim with people. People is what drives the stories. In mid-March, I got a letter from Carl Sorensen, who was just speaking, chair of Augustana Lutheran Church in Edmonton. He told me that in the spirit of helping individuals to be heard, Augustana had supplied power and permitted the Canadian Injured Workers Alberta chapter to hold a rally on the church grounds, directly across from the WCB offices. He wondered if I might be interested in writing about it for the Canada Lutheran. I agreed. The church involvement alone would have been reason enough to do the story, but because I didn't know anything about the underlying issues, I reasoned that there might also be others who didn't know. We took the story to the next level so that fair representation could be given to all parties. Carl supplied the contacts, and I spoke with representatives from the Injured Workers Group as well as the Workers' Compensation Board. This was not only about a church stepping out into the mission field, but one of social justice as well. I wrote the story. It was published in mid-June and copies were sent to the CIWAA and the WCB, and I thought I was finished. But then I got an email from Donna Obrick inviting me to speak at an Injured Workers event. This one. I still thought I was finished. What more could I say? What more could I do? I wrote back with what amounted to a wishy-washy, I'll think about it, and went immediately to work worrying about it. So at 2:30 in the morning, I knew what I needed to do. Donna had asked me to speak as a writer who took interest in the injured workers' plight. But I had written the Canada Lutheran story without ever meeting, face-to-face, any of the people the story was about. I still felt disconnected from the issues behind the rally, as the article laid out. I arranged to meet with 2 injured workers in their own homes on different days. On each of those days, I got up, got ready for my day, made my coffee, had my breakfast, answered my emails, worked for a couple of hours, slung my camera equipment over my shoulder, and jumped into my vehicle for the hour drive to Edmonton. I did all of that without even thinking about it. But on my way home from those meetings, I was acutely aware of the differences between them and me. I, during the time spent in their homes, sat comfortably in one position, listening, asking questions, taking notes. They were in motion, constantly shifting positions or standing to pace beside their chairs as they talked, just to ease the pain. I couldn't remember the last time I had ever even taken an aspirin, but they had to take extra pain medication just to get through my visit without taking a break to rest. I have one small file folder that contains my medical information. They have boxes and boxes and boxes stacked in closets and against walls. I don't need help to get in the bathtub. I can go to the grocery store, walk all the way through it, and get all the things I need in one time. I can invite friends or family over for a home-cooked meal. I have enough money to pay my bills, and I can have a belly laugh at something funny without choking and having to reach for my oxygen. They didn't get this sick all at once. If you peeled the layers of their disease back and back and back over the years, you would arrive at a single kernel, a single injury that through each unique circumstance has morphed into something nearly unbearable. Where are all the injured workers? Have some given up their hope to ever work again? Do others live in isolation, depression, or embarrassment because of their physical or mental conditions? Are they in solid and supportive relationships, or are they alienated from their friends and families? Why have they slid under the radar? I have a long way to go, but I am beginning to understand. At least I have learned enough that I can speak at this rally. I can write another story. I guess I'm not finished. Thank you.